Hey there, and welcome to my channel. October is over, so it is time for an October budget report or budget reconciliation or budget wrap up, whatever you want to call it. I am a few minutes behind schedule and I am wearing no makeup. I am in my exercise clothes, came straight from pickleball, and running a little bit behind today. And I'm having internet issues. So we're just hopping into it. I've already got my screen pulled up. I like to, the whole point of these videos that I like to do is to show you what it looks like in real life. Creating the budget at the beginning of the month is huge. That's really important, but it doesn't do you any good unless you follow through with that. So at the end of the month, it's really important to reconcile or follow up on your budget to see how you actually did compared to what you budgeted, and then make changes for the future month. So I've got my spreadsheet already pulled up right here. I like to use a spreadsheet, but it doesn't matter. I don't care if you use pen, paper, a spreadsheet, or if you use a budgeting app, the principles all still apply. So I'm just going to go through our spending for the month of October. My husband made a little bit more than was planned. We now know, when I planned the budget, I didn't know his take-home pay because we've had some changes. I now know that this is his monthly take-home pay. So he made just under $6,000. Taxes have been taken out of this, but no retirement has been taken out. Our health insurance has been taken out. And then I made almost $1,800 for my business. Now we plan to live off of my husband's income. So then anything I make is like extra. Someday we will be putting that towards fun stuff. As of right now, we're putting it towards an addition we're doing to our house, which to me is not very fun. I'd rather go on a trip, but we plan to live off of my husband's income. In the comments or in the chat, let me know if you had some extra income, what you would spend it towards. Also, we got a bonus for a checking or savings account. I think it was from Ally Savings Account. I recommend them to people, and apparently they're doing affiliate. I didn't even know that, but I got a $50 bonus. That was a nice little extra deposit. And interest, we have lots of money in online savings accounts. So this is the interest that we earned for the month. Once again, I know that we're going to make some every month, but I don't plan on it. We don't spend it. We just let it accumulate into some of our savings accounts. So total income, just under $8,000, which is $2,000 more than we budgeted, which is a great problem to have. Tithing, we spent more than we had planned. So we pay 10% of our gross income, and then we put some money towards humanitarian aid and some fast offerings, things like that. So we spent $265 more than we budgeted because we made more than we budgeted. We made almost $2,000 more than we budgeted. So we spent $200 more. So then moving on to expenses. The boring ones, our mortgage is fixed. So we spent exactly what was planned. Electricity was $1 under. Natural gas was exact. Our city bill was under budget. Our life insurance is fixed. That's exact. Car insurance was exactly what we planned. Oh, Beth, if I had extra money, I would put it towards my oldest son's wedding. Yes, that's awesome. Phone bill, $30. That was exact. Our internet was exact. Now we're getting into the less predictable expenses, some of the expenses that are a little bit more variable. And I get asked, so I meet with clients one-on-one, I do financial coaching, and I see a lot of the same mistakes over and over. No matter what people's income is, I see a lot of the same mistakes. So I actually have a webinar I have done on the biggest budgeting mistakes and how to fix them. I'm going to put a link here. I'll include it in the comments below if you're interested in watching that, so that you can learn how to fix those budgeting mistakes that I see. Okay, moving on. Our gas for our cars, we went over budget by almost $75. I'm not too concerned about that because we filled, I think all of our vehicles, we just filled up. That's just like when we ran out of gas. So starting in November, they're all completely full. So that's something to think about. Maybe for the next month, I should increase that budget a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. Piano was exactly what we had planned at $100. We only paid $16. My son just started back into guitar lessons. He had a broken wrist, so we couldn't play for a while. So we just had, I think, just one lesson. Groceries. Okay, this was huge for me. We spent $758. I get asked all the time how we budget for $700 for our family of 7. I recently just filmed a video just last week. I don't have a link to it, but if you search, it's my most recent video. But we went over budget, but I'm really happy with it. So my husband actually took the kids to the store to get one thing and came home with a bill of like $60. So I'm blaming my husband for going over budget. We had, during the month of October, my daughter is on the high school volleyball team. We were in charge of a meal for 40 teenagers. So essentially it's like planning for 40 adults for their meal. We also had German exchange students over, and one of the German teachers stayed with us for 2.5 weeks, and we fed them. And we had Halloween candy we purchased. So we went over budget. I'm blaming my husband though, but I feel like that's really pretty good for all of the things we had going on. We did also go over budget eating out. We had those German teachers here. We took we went out to eat more than normal, and we ended up paying. I didn't think about that when we planned the budget. Miscellaneous, we were under budget. Our kids' money that we paid them for doing their jobs and babysitting was low. And entertainment, we did go over. We had some Halloween expenses that I hadn't planned on. So overall, we spent $3,074. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Overall, we only went over $67. But now let me move on to our savings accounts, to our sinking funds. We did not budget anything for our emergency fund because it's funded, but most of it is in an online savings account, so it is earning interest. So we just let that interest that it earns each month accumulate in there. Most of it is in an online savings account. It's also good to have cash on hand. Our financial planner recommend we keep some cash on hand in a safe. So if we don't have access to our online accounts, we still have some cash. So we have a balance of $16,685. My husband gets $50 a month, and he spent all $50. He was expensive this month. I don't even remember what he bought, but he's down to $0. My fun money, I got $25. I spent $42. I took a bunch of nieces out to get ice cream. We live a couple hours away from them, and my son we were down near them for a soccer game. So I took them all out for some ice cream. Life insurance, we spent $68, but we pay our life insurance annually. We get a discount for paying it once a year instead of monthly. So it was due in October, so we paid $819, but we had divided it up, and we've been setting aside $68 each month. So we had enough in our account. We spent the $819, so we still have an extra $7 in our account. So we will just continue to include this in our budget monthly. So it's just easier for the budget if you have it monthly rather than once every 12 months. So we put it in our budget monthly. We move that money into a savings account. Now that it's due, we paid that in October. We had the money in the account, and it didn't destroy our budget for October. House maintenance, we budgeted $250. We put $250 in. We did spend almost $300. I don't remember. I could scroll down here and tell you what we spent. I bought plants. They were on clearance for the fall, so I planted them. We also needed a part for our washing machine, and I ordered photos. We had taken family photos. I ordered the prints, big, large, huge print of our family, and then individual of the kids. So almost $300. So we have $31.41 left in there. Vacation, we budgeted $100. We put $206 in there. I don't know why it's too. So the $6.68, we earned some interest for our online savings account. And then I think I knew we made more, so I increased it to $200. I don't know why I put $200 in there. I know we have some expenses coming up. So we now have $414 in there. House updates. This is all of the income I earn. We put into this savings account because we are building a garage with an apartment above it and it's more expensive. We thought we had enough cash for it, but it's, of course, like anything, it's more expensive than planned. So we're still putting everything we can towards it. We did spend $2,551. This is pretty much all we put down the epoxy. We wanted to epoxy the garage floor, so we bought enough. We spent like $2,500 on epoxy for the flooring for our new garage as well as our current garage. So we have done the new garage, and then next spring, now it's already snowed, it's like winter here. So next spring we will move all of the stuff out of our current garage and do that one. But it was a lot cheaper to buy it all together than to do two separate. So we now have $8,665 left for our garage. Clothing, we budgeted 100, put 100 in, spent $88. So we have 14 left in this account. Gifts, we budgeted 50, we spent 21.40. I don't even remember what that was for, but we have $100.72 left. If I'm interested, I can scroll down and look here. But medical, I need to update this. We didn't budget anything. We didn't put any money into it, but we did spend the $664. My internet is not working, so when I'm done, I will connect and add that. We've been saving aside money for braces. So we had money in an old HSA. So it's time for our daughter to get braces. They give you a discount if you pay in full upfront. So we paid in full. She's been ready for them for like 2 or 3 months, but we wanted to make sure we had all of the cash for it. So we have money on an old HSA card. We had like over 3,000 on that. And then we have an HSA for the job we're at now had some money on it. And we wanted to accumulate enough so that we don't use up all of the money in our HSA. So we still, if we have to go to the doctor or something, we have some cash to pay for it. And then we use the $664 that we had saved. So I need to enter that in, but because my internet's struggling, I can't do that right now. So that is now down to zero. And now that we have an HSA, last year we had flex spending, we now have an HSA. We are contributing more to our HSA. We are no longer going to contribute to an online savings account. Car expenses, we budgeted 100, didn't spend anything, so we've got 260 in there. Christmas, we didn't budget anything, we didn't spend anything, we don't have anything in there, and we're getting pretty close to Christmas. I will do most of our Christmas shopping in November, then maybe a little bit more in December. We use the cash back on our credit card. We let it accumulate all year. I probably should every month cash it in and move it into an online savings account. I haven't done that. It's just in our credit card accumulating. So that will be our budget for Christmas. Kids extracurricular, we budgeted 400. We put 400 in. We spent 390. So we have $16.93. If I scroll down to see what that was, okay, I mentioned that we had to do a meal for 40 people. Some of that stuff came out of our regular grocery budget, but I did like pulled pork, and the pork comes in huge quantities. So I bought a lot more than what we needed because 1 wasn't enough or 2 wasn't enough. I had to buy an extra one. So some of the stuff came out of our regular grocery budget, but just this one was for that meal, all the meat, I think. We signed up our oldest for driver's ed, and then she went to state volleyball tournament for high school. They had to pay for 4 or 5 meals, so we gave her $40, and then we had to send down some food, and that's how much I spent. So that's where all of the money went. My Roth IRA, we budgeted 400, put 400 in. My husband's, we budgeted 400, put 400 in. And then we put $100 into non-retirement investments. So total into savings was $3,740, which means we spent a total of $7,980, which means we're $33 over budget. So what I could do is I could decrease this. There's an extra $33. I could just put $1,500 into our house update and leave the 33, but we keep a buffer that's small enough that I'm not too concerned about it. I'll just know that we went over 33 this month. And then whenever we have a little bit of extra, I'll just leave it in my checking account. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm happy to hop on here. I do my best to stay on top of them and try to answer as many as possible. Thanks for staying with me, being a little bit frazzled. If you want to see the common budgeting mistakes that people make, check out that webinar I have for free. I shared the 3 biggest mistakes I see, how to fix them, steps that you can implement today to fix them. If you have questions, leave them in the comments. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you in the next video.